Apologies, I'm late, sorry. Sure, people have been later than me.
Good afternoon, welcome back. We do it in the usual process today, so there'll be the broadcast section first, followed by the dailies, and then the Sundays to finish. And we will start off with Gary from Sky Sports.
Hi Frank. So many big occasions in your career, but are you excited?
Yes, been excited from the first moment that the job was confirmed. Obviously to be back here, I've spoken a lot about it already. It's a huge thing for me, but the most important thing is I want to make a success of it. So this is where it really begins. I've had a good pre-season, but now the real stuff is coming. You can feel it in the air, and I'm excited, and the players are excited, and now we have to deliver.
You're the youngest manager in current Premier League. Being old doesn't necessarily make you good, but there are lots of experienced managers out there. Does that make you excited or a bit nervous?
I haven't thought about it in that way. I'm aware that I'm relatively young in managerial years, obviously, but I just consider the challenge as it was for me last year, as it is this year and in years going forward, is to give my best, to work as hard as I can with the team that I've got at the club that I'm at. And here I am. So I'm not fearful or gauging the age or experience of other managers, other teams, what they've got. I'm concentrating on us and myself, and I will certainly give my all.
Would you take a repeat of what you got the last time you were a manager at Old Trafford?
I certainly would. Well, we drew the game, I suppose, and won it on penalties, but it's completely different. It was a nice experience. I always enjoyed playing at Old Trafford. Incredible stadium, incredible history, and always a difficult match, no matter what year or what team you went up against. So, yeah, of course, it's a completely different thing now. We're both, I suppose we might be in similar stages in a way that we know people will talk about Ollie, and now I think it's his real chance to make a stamp on that team with a window and a pre-season behind him. And I'm trying to make a stamp here, so it makes for a competitive match.
An interesting deadline day, unexpectedly, for Chelsea. Could you tell us a little bit about what went on with David?
Yeah, well, David's obviously left and gone to Arsenal. We all know that now. We'd had some conversations over the last week, honest conversations, because I know David well. And I think the conclusion of that was that he moved on. So I think he's pretty clear in those terms. It's an area of the pitch where I have competition. There's going to be competition through the year. And people will be needing to make that shirt their own, as they will all over the pitch. I don't have ones and twos and threes in my line. I have people competing for the position. I don't have a set in my mind, and that's what everyone has to understand. And that'll be the same everywhere. But it's a competitive area, as I say. So he's moved on. I and we as a club certainly wish him the absolute best, because he's been part of a lot of really good things in our recent history. And now he goes on to play elsewhere, and we must focus on ourselves.
There's talk of fallouts, disruptions, strikes. Can you say, are there any of those?
Well, there certainly wasn't any strikes, so I'll make that clear straight away. And in terms of fallouts, no, there weren't. There were, as I say, honest conversations. I think as a player, I always respected honesty from a manager, whatever the news. And I think I got that back from David, hence why he ends up moving on to Arsenal. So yeah, there were no strikes. The day that David didn't train was a decision that I made, because we were in the middle of this where we were talking, and it was quite clear which way it was going. But that wasn't not a decision as a strike or a punishment or being ostracised at all. It was just probably what worked for that day, and now we know the deal is done.
For us, of course, there's still some time to go in the transfer window. Do you expect any more outgoings from Chelsea?
I don't expect there will be. We obviously have the ban. We obviously haven't been able to make moves in terms of bringing players in. So I'm very happy with the squad I've got now, and my focus is working with the players that we've got. So we'll see as the next couple of weeks, or until the European window's shut, where we're at. But I think you saw the big moves obviously yesterday.
Sorry to ask you again, but is there any update at all on Callum and a new deal?
No, on Callum there's not. The clubs are talking. we want him to stay. I want him to stay. We hope Callum stays. Simple as that. And the better news is that he's working hard on his fitness and he's back out on the pitch. So from my point of view right now, that's the really good news. And of course, as a club, would like that to be longer term.
John,
what's it been like watching the transfer window going around you and not being able to do anything? Frustrating?
Well, I was very aware of it. I suppose I shouldn't be too frustrated because I knew what I was coming into. The club knows what it is. I see it as an opportunity in different ways, and we know that with the younger players, and it's certainly a challenge for not just myself but the whole club. Can we remain competitive when we are in this position? I believe we can, and we just have to accept that and use the challenge of what we've got and have absolute belief in what we've got, because I think with the ban it's been very easy to write off this squad somewhat. And I'm not writing it off. I'm saying that we are hungry to try and prove everybody that we will be up there this year, and I believe in the squad.
Can it work in your favour, people actually not expecting so much from you maybe this season?
I don't know. I don't know if that matters too much. I mean, I don't know. Well, I think what's important is that you have one target within the group that we have, and then everyone else has their targets or their ideas of what might come, predictions, etc. I don't think they matter too much. What matters is how we approach it. And if I was a Chelsea manager who said I'll settle for 6th place this season or 4th place or even 2nd place, that's not the mindset. So I'm not, but we'll see how we go.
What would be a successful season, you think?
Well, I mean, the Manchester City and Liverpool showed the rest of us that there's a gap last year in the league. So that's a gap that everybody has to try and make. So we're striving to do that. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself to say this position will be success. As I say, we will aim to win. And of course, this club wants to be in Champions League football every year on year. We've managed to do that last year. I would love to be able to do that again for us. But I don't want to say I'm settling for 4th place. But we're realistic, and we know that we'll have to be at our absolute best. We'll have to work every day to improve to try and stay right up there with the big boys.
Last one, John. Is that gap reasonable, do you think, to get
Yes.
to the top 2 for anybody?
Yes,
Yeah.
because this is football, and we have to only admire some of the points tallies and football played by the Manchester City and Liverpool last year. But football is never. One of the beauties of it is when every season starts again, you all start a game fresh, and then it's up to you what you do. And they're fantastic teams, yes, but we have to try and rise to that challenge, as do other clubs. Thanks.
Moose.
Sunday's game, is it bigger for Ollie or is it bigger for you?
I don't really know. I mean, it's a big game for us both, without a doubt. We're both, I suppose, the similarities that I had touched on before were the fact that it's 2 huge clubs that have had huge success in the last, since I was playing, in the last 10, 15, 20 years, and we know the history of Manchester United, but we both have the same idea that we want to be successful and we want to up our game again slightly. Chelsea have been winning things, but of course we want to be competing for 1st place, and this is the start of that. So I think it's just huge for us both. I can't say, I certainly feel it's huge, and he will too.
You've got a lot of young players for whom their whole ambition since an early age, when they joined the club and the academy, has been to wear the blue shirt at Stamford Bridge. Likes of Tammy, likes of Mason Mount. Have you seen enough in pre-season to suggest that we're going to be able to see them fulfil their ambitions this year?
Yes, and I don't know what their ambitions are for everyone, what's expected of them from everyone, but I know the talent they have. I love working with them, I love training with them. I love them as lads because they're very driven and they're like sponges on the training pitch, and they bring enthusiasm to training every day and quality, which gives a great balance to any squad and our squad. So with that, I'll include Tamori, I'll include Reece James, who's injured at the moment. I'll include Pulisic, who I know we brought in, but he's a young man still, and let's remember that. So that youth is an important part of our squad. It's not everything, for sure. We need the experience and the players that have been around the block a bit, but I'm expectant, and that's not to try and put too much on their shoulders. It's just what I see every day, that they will deliver, and they, hopefully, as you say, they dream of being a Chelsea first-team player when they're in the academy. That door has to be open for them. They have to open the door and walk through it, and let's see them do it.
Finally from me, a lot of people have written off Chelsea in terms of a top 4 place because you haven't been able to bring anybody in apart from Kovacic and Pulisic, which we've already done. Is that a motivating factor for you and your squad, the fact that you can go out and prove a lot of people wrong this season?
Yeah, I love it. I love listening to the radio and hearing the predictions, and we're not in the top 4. I love reading all those predictions because it means that there's a challenge, and there's nothing better in football than proving someone or people or an idea wrong. So we should all accept that challenge. And as I say, there's two things. One is the outside world and what they think of us, and two is what we think within here, within these walls. And we believe we can really have a go, and I'll drive that, and the players themselves will drive that, and we'll try and be successful.
VJ, Norway.
Yeah. Hi, Frank.
Hi.
You're up against a manager who has a record and experience that's quite similar to yours. He obviously started really good, but things turned very quickly after he got the permanent job, and you got some big criticism since then. Do you think the criticism has been excessive against him, and is that something you keep in the back of your mind, that things can change from heaven to hell on very short time?
I'm very aware of it, and I think when you manage a club of the stature of Manchester United or Chelsea, it comes with the territory. Sometimes it can be excessive. That's just not talking about Ollie. I think that's talking about any manager or even player sometimes in football. And you have to have a thick skin and be tough to get through that. That's a test for all of us. But I think, as I said before, I think it's quite possibly harsh in the fact that it was something that he came into and that he had a great lift, and we saw that, and then things got slightly tough. But I think we should really give Ollie and look at him this season and see what he does with the pre-season, with some signings that he's brought in, with his ideas further down the line. So it's up to him to prove as much as it's up to me to prove here.
Do you think people tend to be a bit condescending with managers who maybe haven't got the experience that people usually have in this league from before?
I'm not sure condescending is the word, but I think it's very easy to pigeonhole managers, and there was the dinosaur managers that people want to keep writing off, and they keep having success, or at different clubs. Youth is obviously easy, something easy to criticise and write someone off. I think when you're in a job, you have to park that to the side, all of that, because the only one thing that matters is what you do. It's how your team performs, it's how your team gets results, and you're judged on that at the end of the day. So I certainly don't listen to too much of he's too young, this situation or whatever. What matters is what I do every day.
Okay. Lindsay.
We don't see many players move from Chelsea and leave for Arsenal. I'm just wondering whether there's any concern that you might have strengthened the rival this window.
I don't think you can always dictate where a player goes, depending on the situation. This obviously happened close to the deadline day. And at that point, David was pretty clear of what he wanted. Arsenal was the club, and then I have to make a decision, and we do as a club actually, of what's important for us here as well. So I think the decision was, okay, David moves on to Arsenal, and I focus on what we've got here. So yes, of course he's a good player, he's gone to a competitor, it's happened before, it will happen again, and that was just how this situation was.
Okay, last two, Carrie and then Beebs London.
Frank, have you prepared your speech in that dressing room? You're going to go in, it's going to be the dressing room that you played in, not exactly your dressing room, the away dressing room, but have you prepared what you're going to say to them?
No, I haven't yet. But there's a lot to prepare, and we're watching Manchester United. We'll have meetings and have more, and have a meeting in the hotel. So I won't be unprepared by then. But yeah, I will speak to the players as I feel it. I'm not one for absolute schedule or to be rigid or to say the same every game. You have to feel that as part of, I think, your job is to feel the atmosphere, say the things you feel need to be said. I think by that moment all the tactical work is pretty much done, and the message will be something around having passion, giving everything, fighting for the team individually and collectively. Those are the basics. You can't go to Old Trafford and expect a result if you don't do the basics, and the players will be reminded of that. But yeah, I haven't thought quite yet.
Can I just get the team news from you? And I just wonder if David Lewis seemed to be disrupted quite near to the end of the transfer window. Are you concerned there may have been any contact made beforehand?
Sorry, in what way?
From Arsenal?
Any contact from
Arsenal to David?
No, I'm not concerned at all. No, I don't. No.
And
Team, yeah, sorry. I was put those questions into one. I got lost there. Sorry. The team news. Well, we have Kante fit, as in he's fit. Is he match fit? Is a question that I'll have to decide right up until the end. Everyone else is pretty much fit. We have the ones that we know are outstanding. Willian is working to be fit, and it's probably come slightly too soon for him. Possibly Rudiger in the same, but Rudiger's been training with us for a few days now. That's for me again to gauge over the next 24 48 hours till Sunday. But yeah, I know the squad I've got. I pretty much know where we're going. We train well, so we're there.
Okay, last question, John.
Frank, 13 years at the club, so many trophies, so many memories. Just tell us again what it means to you, the club itself, and to sit here now as the manager on the eve of the new Premier League season.
Well, it means a great deal, and I don't want to take it for granted, because it's an incredible feeling for me to set out 1 year ago in management and then to have the opportunity. I'm very proud to be manager of this club. It means so much in terms of the affiliation I have with the fans. From the day I moved across town to play for the club, it became my club instantly. And even when I moved on at the end of my career, everybody knows how I feel about Chelsea. So to manage them is an amazing thing for me. But I am past the surreal feeling. I'm in the job now, and I'm sitting here, and I know what the office looks like. I know everyone again. I've met the new faces that I didn't know before, and the important part of the job now is what I do on the pitch. So, as I sort of mentioned in my first answer, I'm very dedicated to the task of not just being Chelsea manager. I want to be a successful one.
Okay, thank you very much. Cameras off, please.
Thanks, Frank.
Daily
Thanks.
newspapers
Thank
now.
you.